Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. This is a new presentation from www.central-mosque.com and the Humble Heart YouTube channel. Today, we're going to discuss the FIFA World Cup 2022 at Qatar and the relentless propaganda against Qatar and Islam and Arabs by the world, or the Western media, I should say, and the LGBTQ community. I wish I could show you the particular clip that I want to talk about, but you may have seen this as part of the opening ceremony where a well-known Hollywood actor is reaching out with his left hand to a differently abled Qatari citizen. And what we're going to do is it's easier for me to illustrate what I'm going to talk about, the hypocrisy of the media and the hypocrisy of the LGBTQ community. I wish I could show you this clip, but I cannot because of copyright reasons. So you've seen the clip and you've seen some obvious things like they talk about the Arab culture, the Bedouin culture, the tribal nature of it, the earth being a tent, and they also specifically refer to a verse of the Quran about diversity. However, there are some things which are symbolic that you may not know about, so let me point that out to you. So first of all, Morgan Freeman. I don't know if you noticed, but he has a glove in his left hand. The reason being is Morgan Freeman suffered a car accident and gradually has lost the use of his left hand properly. And there's a reason why he's reaching out with his left hand to Ghanim Muhammad. Ghanim Muhammad here is a 20-year-old Qatari citizen who from childhood has suffered from caudal regression syndrome, which means that basically his lower spine has not developed properly. Despite that, he is a YouTuber, he is well known, and he tries to live his life as normally as possible and is a shining example to differently abled individuals throughout the world. So the symbolism that the media should have focused on in this episode is two people who are trying to rise above and trying to be inclusive and trying to reach out to differently abled people all over the world. To point out as to what Ghanim Muhammad does, here is Ghanim's routine on Friday. Before I play this clip, which should be an inspiration to all of the Muslims or all of the people worldwide, Friday or the Yawm al-Jum'ah in Islam is the most blessed day of the week. So what the Muslims do is, particularly the men, we have to go out to a mosque in congregation and pray. So you take a ritual bath, then you adorn yourself, you put some perfume, fragrance, and then you go and walk towards the mosque where the Muslims pray in congregation. And you'd read Quran, which is the book of God, which is the book of Allah, on Friday, and also visit your family members and do other things. It is the most blessed day in Islam for Muslims. So here is a routine of Ghanim on Fridays.
Ghanim.
So under normal circumstances, the example of this young man who is trying to go about, his business despite his status as a differently abled person, devoting himself to God, doing the best he can throughout his day. Instead, the Western media particularly have focused on nothing else but LGBTQ issues. That's it. So everything has been completely wiped out. If imagine if he was white, Christian, or even of anybody with no denomination of faith, or anybody living in London or Washington or New York or something, then the world media will be full of praise, lining up to interview him. Nope. all of this has been forgotten by the West, and they are focusing on nothing but the human rights and LGBTQ positions of the Qatari government. Once again, let me say that I'm not here to defend either the records of the Qatar government or try to say that they are a shining example of Islam. They are not. Or the Qatari society that they're shining example, sorry, of Muslims. They're not. I'm simply trying to point out the hypocrisy of it. I've been monitoring Israeli media, is reading Israeli newspapers and so on, and the Israelis have been absolutely vociferous about the human rights violations of Qatar. I know, irony died. Israel talking about human rights of another country. So Israeli media is active in Qatar, and the citizens of Qatar have realized that. And what they're doing, and the world media is also picking this up. This is from Reuters, by the way. The Arabs are basically shunning the Israeli media. Let me just tell you something, and may have happened to you. It has happened to me many times. You're walking around, and somebody from the media, sticks a mic in your face, and they want to interview you, or they want to talk to you, or get your opinion, or get something from you about a particular event. It is your right to decline that. So in the next clip is a citizen of Qatar politely declining that from the Israeli media. And what they've done is they actually even spinning that in a negative way. To say, the Arabs are rude or the Qatari people are rude and so on and so forth. First of all, watch this clip and see how politely he simply declines to talk about it.
Okay, just help me to check. Which channel?
אבל כששמע מאיפה אנחנו, ברגע אחד ירד לו כל החשק לדבר איתנו. We are the public broadcaster from Israel.
For what? For what?
Israel.
You are from Israel?
Yeah. Is it okay?
No.
Why?
Because...
What's your name?
Mohsen.
Mohsen. What do you do for living?
Actually, I don't want to...
No. So just... Oh.
The world media, the Western media, and Israeli media doesn't let a single opportunity slip where they are not trying to defame Islam or Muslims or Arabs. If this was elsewhere, as I said, this could have been presented as a shining example. A country is trying to reach out, trying to be more inclusive, trying to include differently abled people in the midst, but that has been completely ignored. One more thing that fascinates me is there are Muslims on social media who are criticizing every single aspect of this event. Yes, there is a lot of gambling and alcohol and all sorts of vice and sin involved with football. Agreed with that. Qatar isn't a shining example of Islam. The people, the citizens of Qatar aren't shining examples of Muslims either. But where we see positivity, we should highlight it and we should magnify it. And what this Qatari government through this event has tried to do, and again, you can disagree with that. You can say perhaps this wasn't their focus, but they have tried to give opportunities to people who are visiting this event to find out about Islam. So as a result, as of today, 22nd of November 2022, there are 558 people who have reverted to Islam. So we pray that Allah Ta'ala grants them stability and steadfastness in their religion. And I say to those who have reverted to Islam, welcome to a family of over 1 billion believers worldwide. Last thing, you may have noticed that in my YouTube videos, I talk a lot about backpacking, and backpacking is a way to experience and immerse yourself in someone else's culture. Perhaps taste their cuisine, make new friends, get to learn about another culture, and that's what it's about. A lot of times you visit places where people are doing things that you may not agree with, but it is their country, their way of living. Qatar is a Muslim country. People who live there are Muslims, so homosexuality is forbidden in Islam, and the concept of the LGBTQ rights as it's presented in the secular Western society is something which is alien to Islam. This is their way of life. You cannot go to another place and impose your views on other people. That is arrogance. Simple as that. There are a lot of things I wanted to talk about, that's how we should behave when you're backpacking, but I would finish this video, with a clip of some British tourists who were talking about this, and I couldn't have put it better myself. Please watch this. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you finding the experience, the fan experience so far, especially given what you hear in the media?
Absolutely amazing. We're really pleased with where we are. Yes, we're a bit far out, but the accommodation couldn't have been better. Friendliness, just no beer. That's fine. Just got to have it as it is.
Yeah.
Their custom, their country, go with it. We're here for football. We're not here for politics or anything else. We're here for the football. Come on, England!
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the accommodation and the way Qatar has been reported in the media? And I'm not saying that those stories aren't necessarily untrue, but is there maybe they're kind of looking for those things?
I think they're trying to censor. Actually, there's some things which they'll clutch at a straw and they're hoping to pull out something a bit more than that. But a lot of it has been, everything's been fine. And like I said, we're here. We really enjoyed it. They've been saying about beer this, beer that, and it's not the end of the world. The food, they've been saying how dear it is. It isn't. You just look somewhere else, and you can get. We get good value meals. We get good value drink
and accommodation. We went for the low cost accommodation. We really did, the lowest there was, and we was apprehensive because we'd heard all these views of the papers. Everything else.
Are you in the fan area?
Sports Club, yes, yeah. No, we're actually in what's it called? Al Janoub.
Okay.
The biggest one, accommodation in the clusters, and we've got a bed, we've got hot water, we've got Wi-Fi that's working so good, and
loads of other fans from other areas,
countries.
Mexico, Ecuador, Poland, you name it, just one big party.
Yeah. Hey, are you having a good time?
Yes, we arrived a couple of days ago, and like the guys were saying, I can't fault the hospitality of the people, the friendliness of the people. I know there's this big East meets West thing, but you just have to respect people and their cultures, and it's wonderful. And actually, I think no alcohol is not a bad thing, because the enthusiasm you're seeing is genuine. It's not fueled by alcohol, and I think everyone, it's just more of a unity than sometimes you see when alcohol's involved. So
I'm slightly concerned that without alcohol, some people may actually see their football teams for what they really are.
What you mean, the end of the England supporters clubs?
But